Hello, everyone. Thank you to those that are joining us live or watching the recording for being with us today. My name is Karen Kwasi, and I am joined by my colleague, Catherine Johnson. We are representing the Educating All Learners Alliance's content team. If you're unfamiliar with the Educating All Learners Alliance, or EALA, as we often call it, we are an uncommon coalition of organizations established in early 2020 as a result of COVID-19. With remote learning becoming the norm, we realized that there would be a gap in services provided for students with disabilities. Since then, we've gone on to establish an extensive resource library, produce podcasts and webinars like this, and many other resources to support educators as they support their students. We adapt our resources to support current times. So now a lot of them are focused on supporting educators as they readjust to in-person or hybrid learning. A few months ago, we started this series where we share the top resources from the previous month within our resource library. And then we give theme resource recommendations that you can use for the following month. You can find the entire series as well as several other resources on our YouTube page called Educating All Learners. Since we are now in January, we will be providing you with our top resources from December. And this month's theme is teacher support. So we'll provide recommendations to prevent and limit teacher burnout, as well as fostering talent. So we will go through our top resources, not only by listing them, but we'll also give descriptions, and then we'll share our tips and recommendations on supporting our teachers. So now I'll pass it on over to Catherine to get us started on our case studies.
Thanks so much, Karen. We had our top searched resources for December were some of our new and upcoming published ones. So we're really excited to share those with you. The first one that I will go ahead and highlight is a case study that we just put out last December. It's called Student Leadership Makes an Inclusive Impact at Elizabethton High School. And this was our top searched case study from December, and it's one we really do recommend taking a look at. It focuses on two student leaders at Elizabethton High School in Tennessee who met with school and district leaders over the last summer to help direct the best use of ESSER funds that really helped benefit all of the students at their school. What we really like about this case study is that it's written from the perspective of those students. So it really highlights a really strong student-centered story of how individual leaders can make a difference in their schools. And one of the next top resources we had from December was a framework for change, investing ESSER funds to prepare and support teachers of students with disabilities. This was a great working group resource developed by a lot of different ELA partners, just to give an overview of strategies for preparing and developing highly qualified special educators. It shows examples and research about how states and districts can invest their ESSER funds to address the current and growing need for educators to support students with disabilities. And it also shares a lot of really good data and research on both the current challenges and strategies, and outlines recommended actions for states, districts, and educators at all levels. And our last top resource from December was actually our special topic from our content webinar last month. It focuses on social emotional learning and intersectionality. It was our unique identities resource guide. So we weren't really surprised to see this top resource in December too, particularly because it's a really good working group resource that was also developed by ELA partners, and it consists of 3 different classroom posters, as well as an accompanying facilitation guide that helps students kind of understand the concept of intersectional identities. And the facilitation guide in particular is an educator resource that helps educators figure out how to facilitate those class discussions and how to engage in activities that help students understand their own identities. And so now we're going to move on, like Karen said. This month we wanted to focus on how to highlight some resources that helps administrators and educators support teachers. Especially, we thought this was a very salient topic for this month. We know there's still a lot of change and challenges in the education field right now with new variants and changes happening at schools across the country. So we were happy to highlight some of our best resources for kind of supporting special educators in particular, and how to best foster talent and prevent burnout. So the first one we wanted to highlight actually comes from one of our new ELA partners, which is the Cedar Center out of the University of Florida. And this is a toolkit called Educator Shortages in Special Education, a toolkit for developing local strategies. And it is organized around the guiding principle that short-term strategies can meet immediate demand and must be intentionally paired with longer-term systematic strategies. And it goes over how to attract and prepare and retain really effective special educators to create comprehensive shortage solutions, which we know a lot of districts are dealing with right now. The toolkit has a facilitator's guide, as well as 3 supporting sets of tools. So if this is your first time looking at this specific resource, we do recommend starting with that facilitator's guide. And kind of moving on to a resource that opens up information about how to open tough conversations and highlight some good talking points. We have a great resource from the National Association of the State Boards of Education that offers guiding questions and talking points to open conversations about school staff wellness, particularly in the wake of COVID-19. And as we all know, the pandemic has increased educator stress and burnout. So this guide is really focused on how to help education leaders ask how schools are being equipped to handle the potential long-term impacts on staff health, and what questions they can use to guide where their staff is and how they can help support them through this trying time. Our next resource is actually a podcast, but also a really great free course. It's one of our 5 Minutes With podcasts that we did a little while ago with the Yale Center for Emotional Intelligence. In that podcast, we talked to Christina Cipriano, who's the Director of Research at the Yale Center for Emotional Intelligence. They have developed a course on managing emotions in times of uncertainty and stress that's on the Coursera platform. It is totally free, 10-hour, non-credit bearing online course that's designed for pre-K through 12 school and after school program staff. And it's available for free until May 8th, 2022. So we really encourage you to check out both the podcast and that course if you're looking for more hands-on activities to support teachers and emotional intelligence in education. So our next resource is a working model from the Iris Center, which is housed at Vanderbilt University. It highlights the key elements for school administrators who seek to support special educators and increase teacher retention. It only takes about an hour to complete, and it addresses 2 key elements in particular: cultivating effective special educators and, importantly, improving work conditions, which of course will lead to teacher retention as well. The next resource we're highlighting is called Tools for Solving the Teacher Shortage. It's another great solutions toolkit specifically for educators, administrators, and district leaders to tackle the teacher shortage nationwide. So they provide cutting edge research and policy recommendations here, but you can also find really great communications tools like talking points and Q&As that help equip administrators to find evidence-based solutions to solve the teacher shortage. Our next one is returning to school during and after crisis, particularly important now. It's a guide to supporting states, districts, schools, educators, and students through a multi-tiered system of support. And so this is a really good one to look at now during these periods of transition. So it goes over how to lead in transitions in a manner that prioritizes educator health and safety, social and emotional needs, and behavioral and academic growth. So definitely recommend that one as well. And I think that rounds up our resources for our top resources from December, as well as some of our favorite ones about supporting educators and preventing burnout.
Right. Thank you, Catherine, for sharing all of those resources. And we just wanted to let everyone know who's listening or joining us live that you can find all of these resources in our resource library on our website. educatingalllearners.org. And for all registrants, we'll be sending you the direct links to everything we discussed today later on. And yes, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you.